You are going to cancel every single subscription service. You do not need to watch the newest television show when your financial house is on fire. You are going to stop eating in restaurants entirely. You will buy basic groceries and you will cook your own meals. You will eat rice and beans if you have to, because you are hungry for freedom. You work 8 hours to pay for your basic survival. You sleep 8 hours to repair your biological hardware. That leaves you with 8 hours of raw, unallocated energy. Let us be extremely conservative and focus on just 4 of those hours. The window between 6 in the evening and 10 at night is your rescue fund. Those 4 hours are the seed capital for your new empire. If you squander those 4 hours on entertainment, you are actively choosing to be poor tomorrow. But if you protect those 4 hours with the aggression of a predator, you can buy your freedom. To execute this, you must build an absolute defense system around your evenings. Poor people love to spend their time on things that do not pay them. They argue with strangers on the internet about politics. They worry about the personal lives of celebrities who do not know they exist. They spend hours helping a lazy friend move a couch just to be nice. You must stop being nice and start being focused. You are financially bankrupt and you cannot afford to give your time away. You cannot give it to anyone or anything that does not increase your market value. When you come home at 6, you must lock the door to the outside world. You must put your smartphone in another room to kill the distractions. You must turn off the television and embrace the silence. You must treat those 4 hours like a hedge fund manager treats $1 billion portfolio. You do not let anyone touch it. You do not let any notifications interrupt the flow. You sit down in absolute silence and face the reality of your potential. At first, sitting in silence without a screen will feel physically uncomfortable. Your brain will beg you for a hit of cheap dopamine. It will beg you to check your messages or turn on a movie. You must endure that discomfort like a monk. You must stare at the blank wall until your mind accepts that there is no escape. Because once you eliminate the noise, your brain finally has the bandwidth to focus. You will stop consuming and you will start learning. You will take those 4 hours of raw time and convert them into high-income skills. This brings us to the next crucial phase of the restart blueprint. We must discuss how to stop being a replaceable laborer. We must discuss how to use those 4 hours to manufacture absolute leverage. You have secured your time, and now we must put that time to work. We must address the most brutal truth about the global labor market. The market is a cold, emotionless, calculating machine. It does not pay you based on your moral goodness or your heart. It does not pay you based on how many hours you sweat or how tired you are. It certainly does not care how much you need the money to feed your family. The market pays you based on one metric and one metric only. It pays you based on how difficult you are to replace. If the system can pull a random person off the street and train them in 72 hours, you are invisible. Your economic value in that position is effectively zero. It does not matter if you are working hard for 8 hours a day. You are a biological consumable in a machine owned by someone else. This is why working harder at a minimum wage job will never make you wealthy. You can work 80 hours a week and destroy your health, but multiplying a microscopic hourly rate by more hours still equals mathematical poverty. To escape the trap, you must undergo a fundamental metamorphosis. You must transform yourself from a replaceable gear into an irreplaceable asset. And you will do this using the 4 evening hours we just secured. Society will tell you that the only way to become valuable is to borrow $80,000. They want you to go into massive student debt for a piece of paper. They want you to spend 4 years sitting in a dusty university classroom. This is another sophisticated trap designed to keep you in the middle-class cage. You are starting at zero, and you do not have the luxury of traditional credentials. What you need right now is micro-skill leverage. A microskill is a highly specific and aggressively narrow capability. It is a skill that solves a very expensive problem for a business. For the next 6 months, you are going to use your 4 hours of silence to master one skill. You can learn complex digital marketing or deep software code. You can learn advanced data analysis or high-stakes electrical diagnostics. The internet is the greatest library ever assembled in human history. The information is not hidden from you. It is simply waiting for someone with the discipline to consume it. During this 6-month sprint, you will likely not see a single dollar in return. You will study in the dark while others are out having fun. Your friends will still be laughing at your $0 budget. They will mock your refusal to go to the bar on Friday night. Let them laugh while they are physically and mentally depreciating on the couch. You are compounding your internal market value every single night. Then the mathematical flip occurs. When you finally enter the marketplace with an irreplaceable skill, the physics change. You are no longer selling your physical time for a pittance. You are selling the solution to a specific high-stakes problem. A replaceable laborer swings a hammer for $15 an hour. A specialist knows exactly which specific bolt to hit to fix $1 million machine. He charges $5,000 for 5 minutes of work. That is leverage. You must become the specialist. Let us consider the automobile. I have often observed people who are drowning in a sea of debt, yet they continue to drive cars with heavy monthly payments. In their minds, they believe a vehicle is a necessity for their status. But in the cold logic of wealth creation, a financed car is not a status symbol. It is a heavy iron anchor dragging you straight to the bottom of the ocean. When a person truly wants to escape the trap, they do not cling to depreciating assets. They downgrade. They take the bus. They ride a bicycle. They buy a simple, inexpensive vehicle in cash that merely gets them from point A to point B. Design your life for function, not for theater. When you start executing this financial surgery, something highly predictable is going to happen. You are going to experience massive social resistance. Your friends and your coworkers will notice the change in your behavior. They will invite you out for expensive dinners and weekend drinks. When you tell them you cannot go because you are on a $0 budget, they will look at you strangely. They will call you cheap. They will say you are taking things too seriously. They will tell you that you need to live a little. You must ignore them completely. Let them laugh at your discipline. Remember, the people mocking your focus are likely drowning in the exact same debt trap you are trying to escape. They are deeply uncomfortable with your new behavior. Your discipline highlights their own lack of control. Isolation is the price of salvation. You are separating yourself from the herd of the financially blind. Take every single dollar you save from eliminating the ego tax and hurl it violently at your debt. Attack the highest interest rates first. Treat every $100 you pay off as a life-saving breath of oxygen. This process will not be fast. It will not be glamorous. It will require months, perhaps even years of brutal monastic discipline. There will be days when you feel incredibly tired. There will be days when you feel unfairly punished by the world. But I want you to visualize the exact moment you make that final payment. I want you to imagine logging into your banking app and looking at the screen. See that your debt is finally wiped out. Your net worth is exactly zero. As I said before, most people fear zero. But when you climb out of the dark canyon of debt, zero is the most beautiful number in the universe. Zero means the interest is no longer compounding against you. Zero means the debt collectors can no longer call your phone. Zero means you finally own 100% of your own life. Reaching zero is your graduation day from the financial matrix. But zero is only the baseline. Once you have stopped the bleeding, the real game begins. You have no money, but you now possess the single most valuable asset on earth. We must now talk about your only remaining capital. We must learn how to weaponize your time when your bank account is empty. We have successfully stopped the bleeding. You have eliminated the ego tax. You have cut the dead weight. You have survived the social isolation. But now you are sitting at your kitchen table facing a terrifying reality. You look at your bank account and the balance is exactly zero. You have no cash to invest in the stock market. You have no capital to acquire real estate. You cannot start a traditional business. The standard rules of wealth creation seem completely locked away behind a massive iron door. This is the exact moment where 99% of people surrender. They believe that because they have no money, they have no capital at all. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of what capital actually is. Money is simply stored energy, but it is not the only form of energy. When your financial capital is completely wiped out, you must pivot immediately. You must move to your ultimate remaining asset. You must learn to weaponize your time and your cognitive focus. Every single human being on earth receives the exact same daily deposit, whether they are a billionaire in a penthouse or a broke laborer on a couch. 24 hours. When you have no money, time is the only currency you have left to trade. But the tragedy of the lower income class is how violently they waste their remaining currency. Let us look at what happens when a broke person finishes their 8-hour shift. They come home physically tired and emotionally defeated, because their life currently feels like a nightmare. Their brain desperately seeks an escape. They do not want to think about the zero in their bank account, so they reach for the cheap, instant dopamine to numb the pain. They open social media and scroll for 3 hours watching other people live fake lives. They play video games to feel a false sense of achievement. They watch endless hours of television. They go to the bar to complain about the economy with other broke people. This is not relaxation. This is absolute financial self-sabotage. When you give your evening hours away to entertainment platforms, you are taking your only remaining capital. You are voluntarily handing it over to multi-billion-dollar technology companies. You are making them richer while you ensure your own permanent financial trap. If you want to escape the cycle, you must undergo a radical shift in how you view the clock. You work 8 hours to pay for your basic survival. You sleep 8 hours to repair your biological hardware. I know exactly what it feels like when the system architecture of your life suffers a catastrophic failure. You wake up at 3 in the morning staring into a pitch-black void. There is a physical weight pressing down on your chest. It is a crushing gravity that makes it hard to breathe. You are terrified to look at your smartphone because you know the numbers in your banking app are a black hole. Or worse, they are a suffocating negative number that threatens to erase your future. Your credit cards are maxed out to the limit. You decline every call from an unknown number because your stomach drops. You know it is probably another debt collector demanding a piece of your soul. You feel like you are drowning in a dark ocean of mediocrity, and the tide is rising every single day. The elites in Silicon Valley and the suits on Wall Street do not see you. To the modern economic machine, you are just a bug in the code. You are a ghost in the system. But today, I am talking directly to you. I am going to teach you how to redesign your life from the absolute ashes of zero. We are going to perform an emergency operation on your mind. We must delete the virus that is keeping you paralyzed. Society has conditioned you to believe that being broke is a moral defect. You feel a deep, toxic sense of shame. You feel like a failure as a provider, a parent, or a human being. Stop that immediately. Your self-worth has nothing to do with your net worth. A financial collapse is not a character flaw. It is simply a design error. It is a mathematical glitch in a system that was meticulously engineered to make you fail. The system does not want you to be a creator. It wants you to be a mindless consumer. The modern economy expands entirely on the financial illiteracy of the working class. From the moment you entered the world of work, you were bombarded with predatory hardware. You were handed high-interest debt before you even understood the physics of money. You were brainwashed by a consumer culture that demands you by status symbols you cannot afford. You are trying to impress people who do not even like you. You were placed in a maze designed to trap you in a cycle of endless labor. You made mistakes, yes, but you were playing a rigged game. But here is the cold, hard truth you must accept if you want to survive. While the system is rigged, complaining about it will not pay your bills. Blaming the billionaires will not put food on your table. You are at the bottom of a dark canyon, and nobody is coming to save you. No politician is going to rescue your bank account. No lottery ticket is going to fix your reality. No secret crypto tip is going to drop a ladder down into the darkness. The rescue mission relies entirely on you. You must become the lead engineer of your own salvation. To do this, you must accept brutal responsibility for your current coordinates. You cannot ship a great product if you refuse to look at the flaws in the prototype. Most people in debt practice a deadly habit called financial avoidance. They throw the bills in the trash without looking at them. They ignore the data, hoping for a miracle. Miracles do not happen in finance, only logic happens. Tonight, you must sit at your table with a blank sheet of paper and a pen. You must open every single envelope. You must log in to every single account. You must write down the exact, ugly, terrifying numerical reality of your debt. Write it down to the very last cent. Stop hiding from the data. Stop lying to your family about the status of your accounts. Most importantly, stop lying to yourself. Look at that piece of paper. That number is your opponent. But it is just a number. It is not a reflection of your spirit. When you finally look the monster in the eye, the terror begins to fade. The unknown is always scarier than the truth. Many people are terrified of hitting absolute zero. But I am telling you, zero is not a tragedy. Zero is a massive victory. When you finally crawl out of the negative and reach exactly zero, you have defeated the system. Zero is not hell. Zero is a clean slate. Zero is the true starting line of your new life. But to get to zero, we must stop the bleeding right now. We must ruthlessly delete the dead weight from your lifestyle. Let us look at the exact steps you must take tomorrow morning. Now that you know the data, it is time to execute. When people hit rock bottom, they usually look for a magic button. They look for a high-risk gamble to erase the debt overnight. This is the mindset of a loser. You cannot invest your way out of a burning building if you are carrying debt at 25% interest. No investment on earth can outrun that level of destruction. Before you build an empire, you must stop the leak. You must perform a surgical strike on your current lifestyle. We must eliminate the silent killer of the modern world. I call it the ego tax. The ego tax is the premium you pay to pretend you are successful. Look around you. You see people earning $50,000 a year driving a $50,000 car. They are paying for a depreciating asset that loses value the moment they turn the key. They carry a $1,000 phone while their future is in debt. They pay for 10 different streaming services while their house is on fire. They spend $15 a day on premium coffee to feel a temporary spark of joy. They do this because they fear looking poor more than they fear being poor. They are buying the illusion of wealth and paying for it with their life's blood. If you are at zero, you can no longer afford the ego tax. You must declare a state of financial emergency. Starting tomorrow, your lifestyle goes into absolute quarantine. When you possess a rare and lucrative skill, you dictate your worth. You stop asking for permission to survive. You start negotiating from a position of absolute power. This is how you transfer yourself from the bottom of the pyramid. This is how you move to the secure middle class and beyond. You use the raw capital of your evening time to manufacture leverage. But manufacturing leverage is only the preparation. Once you possess the skill, you must execute the most difficult maneuver. You must secure your first real capital, and you must learn how to protect it from the demons that will try to steal it. Let us move to the final critical stage of the restart blueprint. We must discuss the brutal mathematics of your first $1,000. We must discuss how to build the snowball that will crush your previous life. You have executed the financial surgery. You have endured the social isolation. You have manufactured absolute leverage in the dark. Now, we must talk about the execution. We must talk about the most difficult money you will ever earn. Your first $1,000. The financial media loves to talk about making your first million, but the true test of a human being is making the first 1,000 from absolute zero. Why? Because to generate that first 1,000, you had to dismantle your old identity. You had to destroy the consumer mindset. You had to build a producer mindset from scratch. When you finally deploy your new micro skill, something changes. When you solve an expensive problem for a client and they hand you a check, you will experience a psychological shift that cannot be described. That money is fundamentally different. It is not a standard paycheck given to you by a boss who rents your time. It is capital that you generated from thin air. You used nothing but the leverage of your own upgraded mind. But listen to me very carefully. This is the moment where the system sets its final trap. The moment you see that first 1,000 sitting in your account, a demon wakes up. It will whisper in your ear. It will tell you that you have worked hard. It will tell you that you deserve a reward for your sacrifice. It will tell you to buy a new phone. It will tell you to go out to an expensive dinner. It will tell you to upgrade your apartment. It will tell you to finally finance that new car you have been dreaming about. This mechanism is called lifestyle creep. It is the exact phenomenon that drags the middle class back to zero. You must ruthlessly reject this urge. You must lock that money away. Even though you are making money, you must continue to live like you are broke. You continue to eat the basic meals. You continue to drive the rusty car. You maintain the monastic discipline that got you out of the canyon. You take that $1,000 and you use it as absolute fuel. You reinvest it into better hardware. You reinvest it into deeper education. You reinvest it into expanding your leverage. This is how the compounding machine is actually built. It starts as a tiny, fragile snowball, but as you push it, and as you refuse to consume it, it gains mass. The first 1,000 becomes 10,000. The 10,000 becomes 100,000. Suddenly, the physics of your reality invert. The money is now working harder than you are. You have successfully shifted from trading time for money to trading capital for freedom. People look at billionaires and they feel a deep sense of envy. But I will tell you a profound secret. A man who inherits $1 million is fundamentally fragile. If the market crashes, he is completely destroyed. He panics because he does not know how the machine was built. He only knows how to consume its output. But you started at absolute zero. You stared into the terrifying abyss of debt. You sacrificed your comfort. You protected your focus. And you built your empire block by block in the dark. If the global economy collapses tomorrow, you will not panic. If a recession wipes out your bank account, you will not break. You understand the math of creation. You know they can take your money, but they can never take your skills. They can never take the mind you forged during those 4 hours of silence. You possess the most powerful asset in the universe, a resilient, upgraded human mind. You can start at zero again tomorrow and rebuild twice as fast. The modern system wants you exhausted and distracted. It wants you to believe that hitting zero is the end of your story. But now you know the cold truth. Zero is not the end. Zero is the true beginning. Stop consuming the noise. Stop paying the ego tax. Reclaim your time, build your leverage, and protect your snowball. The escape pod is ready. The door is open. It is time to climb out of the dark. Stay hungry, stay foolish. That is all. Thanks for watching.